Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. It's RJ Carter, Senior Managing Editor here at CriticalBlast.com. And of course, you know my buddy Bernie Sanders, who likes to pop in and say hi before we start these streams. But again, I know I'm not messed up and he's kind of vulnerable to that. So he's going to pop back out and we are going to welcome yet another crowdfunding team into the comic books arena here. You've seen them before on the show when they had U.S. Assassin on. We are very proud and pleased to have on Mr. Mark Poulton. Mark, how are you tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. We don't have a show without you guys, so it's me thanking you guys. Otherwise, it's just a crazy guy with a camera and no audience. And we also have Mr. Clint Hilinski. Clint, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well.
So, not really a new book. It's new to me. I see this issue number 2 on it, so I'm like, crap, I missed out on something. It shouldn't surprise anybody that I'm not quite on top of all the crowdfunded books that are out there.
There's a lot going on, so yeah, it's easy to miss stuff, definitely.
Yeah.
There's so many, and I'll tell you, we've had Critical Blast running for like 6 years, and we've only been doing the live stream thing for 2. Mostly it was a review site and interviews and opinions, typing, the hard work. And every year we had this best of awards, where it's the best of movies, TV shows, what have you. We always had the best comic book storyline and writer and artist as well as 3 separate awards. And when I say awards, it's like a real award. We have them made up and we ship them out to the winners, even in the movie category. Lucasfilm sent us a very nice letter 5 years ago for the one that they got. But it's always been like 6 or 7 different nominees in each category for like comic thing. This year there's like 20 nominees in the best comics, and it's like, DC, crowdfund, Marvel, crowdfund. They're just like shouldering their way into the bar, like, give us a seat here. And it's cool. I love that. And they're all quality books.
Yeah, I want to thank you. 2 of those books are mine.
I have nothing to do with it. Well, I have a little to do with it. I'm, on the nominating committee.
Yeah.
But I have nothing to do with the voting of it either. So that's all being done by the people who come to the site and click on their favorites. So, people playing their social media game, go for it. Get in there and get your books pushed up higher. But tonight we're going to be looking at Sea Dog and Codename KILLSWITCH. I keep wanting to say Operation KILLSWITCH. I don't know why.
It doesn't sound terrible either. I mean,
no.
The name's still flexible.
Yeah, and I had to sit there and think about, get the title right, and it's staring me in the face because I've got the banner.
Yeah, I like the way you did the logo and the little artwork down in the corner. That looks slick.
It's just StreamYard. I have fun with it. The only tool I have is PowerPoint. So
hey, whatever works. I mean,
it looks great.
I'm still working on trying to get a microphone so I don't sound like I'm you got a mouthful of marbles.
Yeah, I hear you. I even tried to play with your guys' names to make it like.
Oh, that looks cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You got to be careful with Clint though.
Yeah, you
don't want it looking like that L and that I are linking up. That's a little tricky there.
Yeah, never use cursive fonts for that.
No. That just brings me back to 9th grade. Oh, a bunch of people showing up in the chat now too.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah, somewhere there's a pair of twin brothers named Clint and Dick, and they just get.
Oh yeah, it's
They just. Expression.
It goes downhill fast.
Yes, it does. So I don't know who all the characters are in Sea Dog and Codename KILLSWITCH. So I picked the boobs and I put them in.
Yeah, it's always.
You can't go wrong.
There.
I figured that. So I'm like, if she's Sea Dog, she's woefully misnamed. And then of course, the sarcastic guy in the back of my head says, "Oh, look, it's what did you say, sarcastic guy again? Oh, right. It's Harley, Domino, and Looker back together again for the first time." which is
It's Harley / Domino and Halo / Dagger.
there you go. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, remind me where Looker's from. I know that name.
Looker was also from Batman and the Outsiders. But you're right.
Oh, okay. Also, Double Outsiders.
Yeah, Looker was the redhead.
Okay, yeah, definitely. This is more Halo / Dagger.
Yeah, it's just me forgetting my characters.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, Halo is you're right on the money there. Yeah, I put a bunch of characters in the blender and came up with something slightly different.
You know, that's exactly what we were talking about last night with R.J. Shaw when we had Thomas Valiant on here. He talks about it. Says I take Marvel characters, DC characters, and I pretend the amalgam universe went on for another 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And I mean, I think like I love that kind of stuff. I love comics. There's just so many variations and influences. And I mean, DC bought Captain Marvel, Shazam, after they like sued it out of business because they were ripping off Superman. And it's like, you know, it just kind of goes down the line. So like as a comic book fan, I love all the alternate Earths, infinite Earths, different realities, different versions of the characters and those storylines. Like, I think that's a ton of fun to do that kind of stuff. And then, you know, like looking at what character is influenced by what other character. And me and Mark kind of, when we were starting this book out, we're both like 90s comic book nerds. Like we love that stuff. We grew up on all that stuff, and that's what our go-to is. So we kind of wanted that book to, you know, kind of have our book to have that kind of feel. And I mean, when Image kind of broke away from Marvel and Jim Lee, Rod Liefeld, all those guys, I mean, it wasn't too much of a stretch to see the influences of Cyberforce and Wildcats and Youngblood. Like those guys creating their new characters didn't stray away from what was selling back at Marvel. So
True.
When we were doing this and being clearly influenced by the 90s, it was kind of the same thing. It's like we kind of wear our inspiration for characters on our sleeves. It's like not even a secret. It's like, okay, yeah, you can see the influences. Yeah, we weren't trying to hide them real hard.
Yeah, the thing with Image, I was in college when the Image revolution happened, just getting out actually. And there were, to me, Image at that time was like a few individual characters that were iconic and recognizable. You had your Spawn, you had your Savage Dragon, and then you had the generic team that kept changing its title, and calling it something else. And it was like, you know, yes, Babe, Rock, Guy with Gun.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. Yeah, I mean, Youngblood, Cyberforce, Wildcats, all kind of came out. They were very similar to each other. You know,
Rip
there was
Claw,
a lot of
Claw Death Claw.
Yeah, all the claws. And then definitely with Rob was like selling anything that he was printing was selling and making money. So then Rob like spun out the Blood Strikes and there was all of a sudden like 9 different team books that were all very similar to each other and some individual characters. But Rob was printing money at that point.
Yeah.
You know, everything they were putting out was selling. And I would have done the same thing. I'm like, when you see those kind of sales numbers come back to you as an independent creator and know the cut you're getting off of each one of those books, it's like, yeah, let's put out like 9 other books that are exactly like this one because the fan base was just eating it up, you know. And it's kind of one of those things where when something's working, just, you know, saturate the market, and then, you know, obviously you kill that market, but that's, you know, kind of how capitalism works. But
yeah,
for a short little span there, I mean, he was printing money.
What were those print runs? They were in the hundreds of thousands, I would think.
Oh yeah, I mean, Wildcats, the first run of Wildcats and Youngblood and Cyberforce, I don't know the exact numbers, but they were like X-Men numbers. I mean, when Jim did the X-Men #1 with the alternate covers, do you remember what that was, Mark? It was insane.
It was in the millions.
Yeah, it was in the millions.
because that
And
was
so even if they're getting like a fraction of that, you're getting a fraction of a million.
Yeah.
And you're probably printing these books out at this time at like $2.99, and you're getting like 60% back on the cover price. So you're getting like almost $2 out of a $3 comic book, and you've got a print run that's hundreds of thousands. Like those guys were making insane money. If you just look at the basic math of what they were doing.
well, we could talk for 3 hours on
Oh
this.
yeah.
And
You can get me and Mark talking about 90s Image comics like all night long.
But the chat is saying, what is Sea Dog and Killswitch about? And is this, where that cool dude Mark Poulton talks about his comic? So we're gonna have to let you guys do that. So why don't I just jump over to the video and we'll show that real quickly, and then we'll get into who they are and what they're about.
God, we got to talk about our own comic book.
Yeah, apparently you got to do it sometime.
Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch return in an all-new 48-page graphic novel by Mark Poulton and Clint Hilinski, featuring Sea Dog, Soldier 7, Rebel, Tundra, Neon, Stormborn, and Crotch Rocket. Only on Indiegogo.
Nice.
Crotch Rocket.
Crotch Rocket, baby. He's got a transdimensional. He's got a transdimensional warp bike that's a crotch rocket, hence his name. So he can travel through time and space on his bike.
Okay.
Very, very serious book we're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. And I definitely got that definitely got that 90s Image vibe from the character names we're going by. I think even Wizard magazine, Where Art Thou, Wizard, had a game one time where it was like, hey, take your birth month and your day of your birth and put these two words together, come up with your Image character.
Usually on every stream we go on, I have to explain Crotch Rocket, and then Mark has to explain Sea Dog, and you have to explain the Sea Dog superhero and his secret identity.
Well, I did notice that he was a dog, and he's right there front and center in the video image. So yeah, I think that'd be cool. Like if it was like Aquaman, but it's a dog with gills. And
Well, it's more than that. But yeah, so Sea Dog was actually an idea my son and I came up with. We were developing an idea when Clint reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I've known Clint for a long time, probably like at least 10 years, I would say, right?"
Yeah.
I used to work at Arcana Studio, and Clint was the artist of Greatest American Hero. We had the license for that. Yeah, that's a great show. So I've known Clint for a long time, and even before that, I was a fan of his work. He put out a series, Hyperactives, that I absolutely loved back in 2006, I think. So Clint reached out and was like, "Hey, would you want to work together on something?" He had seen the success of Graveyard Shift, and and I was like, "Sure, yeah." Well, first, he asked me if I remembered him, and I was like, "Oh, of course I remember you." And I was like, "Well, hey Don,
Don Chin in the house."
yes,
like, yeah, my son and I actually have this crazy idea where we're coming up with. Would you be interested? And I explained Sea Dog and how it's a dog who his owner, because he's actually a puppy. When the first book starts out, his owner finds this amulet while he's fishing, and he puts it around his dog's neck because he thought it would make a nice collar, and he instantly transforms into the superhero Sea Dog. And he likes being, this human-like dog superhero so much, he never reverts back to a puppy. He doesn't take the medallion off. So he's adopted this alter ego, this secret identity where he's Sea Dog, CDAWG, the rapper. It's a canine rapper he's a canine superhero. No one can figure out that they're the same person.
Because he's still a dog. How
Yeah.
many dogs do you have in this universe?
Just Sea Dog.
So it's the whole Clark Kent Superman glasses conundrum, but even just a little bit more so.
Well, it kind of reminds me of do you remember Megaton Man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Megaton Man was like this huge, bulked up guy, was the Superman analog, and he had the mild mannered reporter secret identity. And he was always like, they'd show the offices of, whatever newspaper it was he worked for. And here he is hunched over the typewriter, just, putting his big fat muscular fingers on it.
Gigantic.
And, exactly. And everybody in the office knows who he is. And the editor would be like looking at the list and says, oh gosh, there's a giant meteor coming this way. I sure hope Megaton Man saves us. And then be like, oh, look, I dropped something on the floor. So he'd have an excuse to run out and not be seen.
So yeah, Chase and I we were coming up with this character, and I was like, well, Sea Dog, what type of super abilities does he have? And he was like, well, he can fly, he's super strong, and he can turn into a fish. And
the ocean, yeah.
So did you keep all of that?
Yes, except we changed it just a bit, that he can change into any sea creature he wants.
Any sea creature, so
yeah.
You just stretch my artistic ability. There was an octopus in issue 1.
Yeah, a swordfish.
Yep, the swordfish. Yeah,
Dog head.
it is fun to draw. I mean, it's a unique superpower. So when that stuff happens in the story, it's like you kind of notice it.
So yeah, so I pitched this idea to Clint, and he was like, "Sure."
He's like a canine Mr. Limpet.
With a caveat, I will give behind the scenes information here. When Mark pitched this idea to me, I was like, oh, what the hell am I going to do with this? And then I looked at graveyard shift numbers again, and I'm like, sure. You guys were killing it on graveyard shift, so I wanted to be any little small part of that I could.
Yeah,
it worked out great.
I love the story that you worked this out with your son, because I'm seeing more and more crowdfunded comics come from kids, and working with their dads usually, but sometimes it's just them. We've had Super Cat that we've taken care of on the show here. We've seen Pillow Man and Blanket Boy, which is another thought up by his kid and told to his dad who drew it. Now we got Sea Dog is in here. Joe Arch is a young guy, and I know there's another guy I'm missing out. Is 15 years old and is doing comics in college and is
Noah,
Noah, yeah,
cool.
So it's just this younger generation coming up here and saying, hey, look, we don't need a publisher anymore, which I still contend is part of the reason why probably that lawsuit got dropped, because part of the reason he was keeping it, your boy was keeping it, was because he was saying, I want to, set an example so that no one else gets between an artist and a publisher in the future. Yeah. There's no publisher to get between anymore. Just do it. You don't have to have somebody tell you no. You have the customers tell you no, and then you fix it.
Your boy Zach might have killed all publishers. Like historians might go back to this point and realize that your boy Zach killed off publishers. Everybody is just independent, and I mean, the flexibility nowadays, and I mean, it has a lot to do with these printers that can print quality books, a short run. I mean, that gives us as creators the ability to make a book that's affordable but still make a profit off of it. That's part of it, definitely too.
Absolutely.
That wasn't around 15 years ago.
Yeah, that Umbrella guy's doing, Littlest Umbrella. I think he's one of the first kids taking things to comic books.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch, I'm guessing Sea Dog is the leader and Codename Killswitch is the overall team of people we saw?
Not quite.
It's almost like a team-up book, because Sea Dog is definitely Mark's creation. Codename Killswitch is my creation. So it's almost the old, the Thing 2-in-1s or the Marvel team-up books, where our two creations kind of come together to kind of solve this villainous thing. I'll let Mark run with the villain since he created them.
Yeah. So so when I explained Sea Dog to Clint, he was like, "Well, can I throw in codename Killswitch?" And I was like, "Sure." Once I saw like the a picture of them, I was like, "Yeah, they're in the book. They're awesome looking," because we're both '90s fans. And then we just started coming up with ideas for a story, and the villains came to us. The main villain is a guy, Shikari, and he kidnaps metas and sells them on the black market. And this is how our story comes together. He's out to kidnap this young meta, Neon, the blonde in the corner down there, and and she tries to hide from Shikari's goons, and she hides out at one of Sea Dog's concerts. She tries to mix into the crowd. So when Sea Dog's on stage rapping, he sees like these goons hassling a woman. He jumps into the crowd and tries to save her, and codename Killswitch shows up because they're a government task force, and they've been monitoring this whole situation. So that's how Sea Dog and codename Killswitch come together. During the fight, Shikari he doesn't get Neon, but he takes Sea Dog's owner Peter and kidnaps him. And that's where we end off with book one. Shikari takes off into space. Sea Dog and codenames Killswitch decide they're going to have to do the old-fashioned superhero team up and find Peter. And this is where we pick up in book two. Shikari's on the run. He takes refuge on the planet of Tharoon. Tharoon is the home world of one of the members of codename Killswitch, Stormborn, who most of Killswitch thought was crazy because he's this He-Man type character talking about his sword and his home world, and they just keep him around because it's better to keep him in checked on than running loose on Earth.
Sure. And then to find out that he's not crazy after all.
Yeah,
exactly.
And the thing is, Tharoon, the throne of Tharoon has just been taken by force by Stormborn's brother Dragonborn. So there's this big civil war going on in Tharoon. Sea Dog and codename Killswitch are after Shikari and Peter. There's a lot going on in this book. We figured like the only way to outdo book one was to just like double up on the action and the storyline, expanding the world. Yeah.
So as a writer, Mark, did you ever consider the fact that you were actually going to have to say out loud the words "the throne of Tharoon"?
It kind of just rolls off the tongue.
It absolutely does. Book two, is this like second half, or is this next chapter of this ongoing adventure?
I would say, I mean, you could probably say either. I would say it's more like second chapter.
Next chapter,
yeah, because the first one ends with the team coming together, Sea Dog and codename Killswitch, and now they're in this new chapter they're off on their first like real mission together.
Okay. Me and Mark are having fun with these characters, definitely. And book one was a nice success. We were both very happy with how it turned out. Book two is outdoing that by a wide mile. So these are characters we want to do more stuff with. This is, I would say, the next chapter in the story. There's going to be more Sea Dog, more codename Killswitch, and we're going to build up on these characters and kind of the world building and the backstory, like all these characters. And there's more with Sea Dog too. Like, it's a dog with a medallion, but where did the medallion come from? Where did these powers, like what just turns a dog into a superhero? That's just not just like left out there. There's a backstory to all of that, and some of that starts playing out. It'd
be funny if the amulet turned whoever put it on into Sea Dog. It didn't matter that it was the puppy. It was that is the alternate identity. It'd be like Thunder Bunny.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that though, because I mean, if you want to talk about the Animalers, Mark, it's a good.
Yeah, so like one of the things we do in book two, Clint mentioned world building. We're expanding our universe. We introduce a new super team in this, the Animalers, and it's a super team of animals much like Sea Dog, they all represent different, I would say, elements. There's the leader of the Animalers is Space Bat, who, if anyone backed our book 1 campaign, one of the higher price tiers came with an Ashcan preview of book 2. Space Bat made his first appearance in there in one of Clint's character designs. But yeah, it's a really cool team of animals. It's kind of like I guess like the Green Lantern Corps of our universe.
That's how I always kind of think of it. It's like if you took like different animals and then teamed them up with like different environments, Space Bat, snow, water, the sun, the stars, the moon, all those kind of things.
Legion of
Different animals. It's kind of like a Green Lantern Corps of those kind of characters.
I love it. I can't. So this is more than just a team up adventure, because when you think team up books, you talk about those Marvel team ups. Is like it's this issue, guys, and then they go back home and Spider-Man falls into somebody else on the way, and that's the next issue. This is going to be at least a little ongoing.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And spinning some stuff out. So Animalers is going to be crowdfunding at some point in the future, I'm guessing.
Well,
never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So you have. I'm going to get her off your face, Clint.
Please don't. Oh, damn
it! You had neon on your face, are you?
I wake up some mornings and I wish that I stayed asleep for the rest of that dream.
Well, the thing is, you're an artist. You can make those things. You can make those things in your head have a physical.
Yeah, visually, yes.
There's a portfolio under Clint's bed that he will show nobody. But you guys are at 147% of what I have to guess is just the first 9 days of the campaign already.
Yeah,
there's no way you're in your second 30 and you're and here at this point.
Yeah. This is the first 30 days.
Yeah, because nothing makes a campaign this successful more than people having seen the first campaign successful and delivered. When people really start to jump on, I've noticed the second campaign.
And Mark is the machine with that. Mark is, and that's why I love working with him. Is Mark takes care of the delivery end. Like he is FedEx and Amazon and UPS like in one guy.
No, one of the things I'm proud of, and I think is key to our success, is we fulfilled the first book 2 months early. So I want to hit that again this campaign too. Clint says he's going to be done the pages by the end of this campaign, so I don't see why we can't fulfill early again.
So that's the goal. That's the goal, is outpacing everybody's expectations. And there's a lot of fans of crowdfunding, and they're like asking where their book is after 6 months or after a year. And we don't want to be those type of guys. Yeah, exactly. Go buy, you're not going to have to go to Walmart and buy our books. You're going to get them well above expectation.
So you have a featured tier here. This is book 2 with 2 different covers. You got Dan Fraga putting up.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We were lucky enough to have John Malin do the variant cover for our first book. I guess Mark knows John a little bit.
Yeah, we're a little friendly, a little familiar with each other.
You passed each other in the hallway.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Dan to do the variant for our second cover. So it's like 2 of the, and you can, I mean, anybody who missed us, like you had mentioned, it's easy to miss all the crowdfunding books coming out right now. But anybody who missed us the first time around, we have plenty of options for you to get book 1 and book 2. There's multiple variant covers, so you can kind of pick and choose what you're looking to get. But we were lucky enough to have the John Malin variant for book 1. We do have a colored version, and then we do, which John was pretty excited about when we were on his show. We have a line art variant of John Malin's cover 1 for us, which is really cool looking. You can see all the detailed art that John did on it. But then with book 2, we have the Dan Fraga variant. So it's kind of 2 of the top Comicsgate artists out there have done variant covers for our book 1 and book 2. So it's a nice combination, and you can kind of pick and choose with the add-ons which covers you want to get.
Yeah, and I love the line art versions of artwork.
They're cool.
Because you can see so much detail. You have to get a really, really good colorist to color that stuff and not mute out a lot of the inking detail.
Yeah.
And John's got a great colorist. It was a beautiful cover. We were so stoked about it. But it's also fun to just have that line art variant where you can just really see the intricate detail an artist puts into it.
Yeah, and I can tell the colors you guys got here is good.
Yeah, that's my buddy Andrew Dollhouse. He colors a ton of stuff for Marvel and DC. He's Brett Booth's, basically Brett Booth's main colorist. And me and him are pals from way back, so I kind of finagled him into coloring my stuff, which is kind of a feather in our cap, definitely.
Yeah, so apparently one of you guys has a great taste in 80s and 90s action cinema.
Yeah, that's my buddy Marco who keeps posting. We have a great love of straight to video 90s films like Martial Law, basically anything Cynthia Rothrock's in.
So did you ever see Remo Williams' The Adventure Begins?
Oh yeah,
I'm writing that series now.
yeah.
I get to write the Destroyer. That's fun.
That's a license that's probably floating out there for somebody to use. Are you really doing it, or?
No, I am really doing it. Destroyer Books is owned by Devin Murphy. That's the son of Warren Murphy, the creator.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, the last two books out there in the Destroyer series, Bully Pulpit, Continental Divide, and Monumental Terror, were all written by R.J. Carter. That's me.
Oh, awesome.
And they're waiting on more of them, and I'm like, I'm working on other stuff now. But no, I've got to get a fill-in book for them. They've got 2 manuscripts. I'm like, okay, but we want one to happen before these 2. I'm like, okay. And I got an idea, but it's gelling still. So I'm going to come out and say it. Not enough pouches, perfect amount of underboob.
Well, Crotch Rocket is in the background. Crotch Rocket, he's on Sea Dog's right shoulder, but he's right at waist level. So there are plenty of pouches there, but they're just out of visual range.
Perfect.
But yeah, I concentrated on the underboob over the pouches on this cover. Believe me, I was trying to fit both in.
You know, nobody's ever made a costume where it's like pouches over the boobs. There's
pouch boob.
Yeah, there's money to be had here.
Yeah,
leaving it on the table, guys.
She's debuting in book 3.
Yes. It'll be Rebel's evil sister, pouch boob.
Silicone. No.
And hey, we're the kind of book where that's not too far from us being able to make that happen.
Do you remember a show? You guys are probably too young. There was a Saturday morning cartoon show called the Super Globetrotters.
Oh yeah,
and one of the guys had the giant fro, and his superpower was that he could reach into his fro and pull out anything he needed.
Anything out he needed out of his fro, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking like just reach down into the pouch and pull out.
Oh yeah.
It's a bra of infinite holding. Where did I get that? How did I go there? I have no idea. Let's look at the next tier here. $25. This is book 2. If you got book 1 and you're ready to move on forward, you can get book 2 here for $25. That's a deal. I'm saying that's a deal just from the artwork alone. I have no idea how thick this thing is. Was it
48 page book? So you're getting plenty of story with it,
and that'll be bound, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a nice looking book. We got set up with the printer. Mark set us up with the printer really good. I was super stoked with the way the first book's, page quality, print quality, the square bound. They're really quality, nice looking books that we have set up with the printer. So we're doing the same thing with book 2.
All right, and you're signing them. So Mark is signing them. I don't know if.
Yep, Mark's signing everything.
Mark's even signing on Dan's book. So,
Oh, yeah.
Sign it, Dan Frega.
Yeah,
so that's just a rough layout of Dan. Dan's deep in finishing up Black Flag right now, but still, it was awesome for him to just kind of give us a rough layout idea of what he is doing. So I'll let you explain.
Yeah. So if anyone's wondering what's going on in his layout, that's Sea-Dog in his rap persona. He's from the streets, so he's a bit of a graffiti artist as well. He's holding a spray paint can, and he's spray painting a mural of codename Killswitch on the wall behind him.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I would not have known he was doing that from the layouts here. I would have just thought they were standing behind him.
Yep. And Dan, Dan enjoys rap and freestyling and everything, so it kind of goes to that like old school California 90s kind of freestyling thing where Sea-Dog is tagging a wall with a pinup of Killswitch. So it was a great idea from Dan. I'm like super stoked. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to get the art to show it to everybody because I think that's going to be a big boon for us.
And you can get the book 1 by itself too with just the line art. So
if you just want to go for that
one.
And there's the pinup of the John Malin line art variant, which that's gorgeous.
Now, is her name Rebel? I mean, she's just
her name is Rebel. It's Rebel and Neon are the 2 female chicks. Rebel is so Soldier 7, the guy with the 7 up on his chest. He's like the leader. He's kind of the Cyclops, Spartan, kind of heat wave or striker, kind of leader of the team. He's kind of my version of that type of character. And there was the Secret Soldier program that gave Soldier 7 his powers, and there's kind of a military, kind of Captain America, World War II kind of concept. And Rebel was a part of that program, but she scrubbed out because she couldn't pass the psych exams. She's just a little too cuckoo for coconut.
Yeah, I can see that in her eye.
But there was like a laboratory accident when they were doing all of this stuff that it still ended up giving her powers. So she was too valuable to the team to just kind of wash her out now that she had superpowers. So Rebel is still part of the team, but she's still a little bit of a off-kilter kind of wild card. And that's kind of what her character has been on the team.
So when I see somebody like Soldier 7, and I've seen characters with similar type names, it's I'm sure. Driver 8 or whatever. Mm-hmm. I have to wonder what happened to the first 6 soldiers.
That's a story for the Soldier 7 solo series. And the nice thing about the Soldier 7 solo series is that it's so synchronicity with saying words that start with S.
Yes, that would work. And of course, those
weren't the right words I was going for, but they all started with S, and that was what I could come up with.
Run with that alliteration.
Alliteration, that's what I was looking for.
And this is of course Stormborn here in the middle with his "I have the power."
Exactly.
So does he exhibit any powers, or is he just like really strong and cuts things with the sword? And they're like, keep an eye on the guy.
These are all good questions. But you have to read the story to find out all the secrets of all these characters. Like there's more going on than just meets the eye.
So he can transform.
With Stormborn, his kind of little bio breakdown was he tells everybody that he is a barbarian prince from an alternate world, and he chased across this galaxy kind of warp door a sorcerer from his own world to stop him. This sorcerer is set on destroying both his home world and the Earth. Well, everybody thought he was a kook, but then now in issue 2, when they discover Tharun, because Tharun does play a part, this is a Stormborn's home world, so it leads a little credence to his backstory. So there's more going on with all the characters. We kind of want to have fun with it. They're not just kind of like, this is this guy, this is this guy. We want to show where they came from, what their motivation is. We want to kind of flesh everybody out and kind of have fun with it.
You make them real characters so that the readers get invested into them. They're not just, two-dimensional superhero characters running across spouting lines in a story that you're rushing to get to the end of.
Writing and character creation, I always look back to the old Claremont Byrne days of the X-Men. Was like, Wolverine shows up and, he's this dude with claws. And then all of a sudden you find out about Alpha Flight, you find out about adamantium, you find all this backstory and you build off of it, and it creates like a more fleshed out character. And I mean, they did that with all of the X-Men. And that's what makes the characters fun. Like, the readers are learning about them as they read. There's more to them. There's a backstory. There's a place where they came from. There's a reason why they're doing this stuff. There's a reason why they're going where they're going. That's kind of like, that's my enjoyable part of, creating these characters with Mark and developing the storylines, is like, we want these characters to be cool. We want them to be fun. We want people to show up and find out what's going to happen with them next.
And you got to pace that too. You can't just, take a plunger and shove all that away from the reader.
You're not just dumping everything in the first 10 pages. So that's why we're kind of like, I call it world building always, but like, that's kind of what makes it fun.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, if I'm reading a book and there's 3 pages of world building right there, text in the front, guarantee you I'm not reading that. I'm skipping to the start of the actual story. And if you want me to know this stuff, then you better tell it to me in the story.
Yeah. No, you'll get none of that in our book. We dive right into it, right into the action.
I also hate glossaries. If I can't figure out the new words you've invented by their context, then you did not write them correctly. Just as a lesson out there to other writers, don't write glossaries. They suck. You can get both the covers of the book here for $50. 6 people have claimed that. Fan pack. Okay, here we go. We're getting into the real mix and match stuff now. So you got the regular cover, the Fraga cover, Clint Hilinski sketch. That's worth money.
And the original sketch with that one.
Yes. So the thing with our fan pack is we had a mailing list before we launched. Anyone who signed up to the mailing list, right after we launched, I sent them a link to a discounted fan pack that only is available to them. And they, if you had signed up for our mailing list, you could get the fan pack for $100. You would save $25. So just an incentive for the future. If you want to sign up to our mailing list, you're going to save some money.
Yeah. Always sign up for the mailing list, folks. There's always something that you're going to get for doing that. I signed up for ones that I don't know if I'm even going to back or not, because I just,
Oh yeah, same here.
see where I'm at financially when something comes along here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys know George Peter Gatsis. He's done some crowdfunding books, but he does 3D prints of like his characters. And the book he's working on right now, he's doing a 3D print of the spaceship that's in the story. And he showed me private streams of it. Son of a bitch is 3 feet long. And he showed me how it all comes together. If you signed up for the mailing list, you get access to that. But only the mailing. So I'm like, sign me up right now. That thing looks cool. You could put like some D cells in the back of that and probably launch it off a rocket launcher. Okay, I'm just distracted by story off to the left here as I'm scrolling here, because you didn't warn them that was coming out.
That's a little side story. The girls have to go undercover at a strip club to discover the whereabouts of the bad guy they're chasing. So that's kind of a couple of lead-in panels to that. They're working undercover at a strip club, so that's the whole opening sequence, and that's a little behind-the-scenes panel there.
Well, Mina will blend in okay. Rebel still got that eye tattoo thing's going to stand out like a sore thumb. So
yeah.
Well, it is a superhero strip club, so she blends right in.
Yeah, it's an interesting crowd that happens. So.
A superhero strip club.
We have as much fun with it as we possibly can, and kind of push the limits of what we can get away with.
This is a reminder to the chat that the boys has announced they are going to do an episode of that Herogasm special that came out.
It's not far off from that level of getting away with stuff.
Well, who's going to tell you no? The editor? Come on.
No, exactly. We're making these books as fun as we possibly can. We're going to push the boundaries and kind of get away with what we can and have a good time doing it. And we hope the readers appreciate it and enjoy it.
This is just a beautiful entrance right here.
Yeah, that was fun to draw, and Andrew knocked it out of the park with his colors. Just kind of a lot of action, a lot of fun going on.
Now, I don't think I've asked about Ben Grimm back here yet.
You mean Tundra?
Tundra, yeah. Well, every 90s team has a rock.
Exactly. So Tundra was actually the scientist behind the Secret Soldier program. So like there's tie-ins behind all these characters, and he was the scientist behind the Secret Soldier program, and the accident that Rebel got caught in, he also got caught in, and it altered his DNA. There was different variants. You know how accidents happen, and all of a sudden you've got a Fantastic Four or something along those lines. This is one of those accidents.
Yeah.
So he was actually the lead scientist behind the Secret Soldier program, and it turned him into Tundra. He's kind of just like a heap of rock, frozen rock. He can be cold, he can be icy, he can be rock, he can be dirt. He can kind of change his mass. So in book one, the city is being attacked by a giant kaiju, and he like turns himself into like a 12-story, because he absorbs all the earth around him, turns into a 12-story version of himself in order to fight the kaiju. So he kind of has control over his mass and how big he is, and he kind of stays that size for the most part, so he can like move around with the team. But yeah, he kind of has different kind of earth powers.
He just can't change back to his human form, I would guess.
Well, there's a lot of story to be told. So
okay. I'm just thinking how pissy he would be. Characters like the Thing and specifically.
The Thing was always pissed about it. Yeah. There's more story to be told with him too. I'm looking at book 4, book 5, book 6. We can delve into all that stuff. So
yeah, Poulton had a indie series back in the 80s called Concrete.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I always thought it was interesting that he's like this quiet character. He's massive and he's destroying walls, but in his home, it was Spartan, and he had the chair that was sporting, but he had porn everywhere. Hanging on the walls, because that was his only sensual outlet. He couldn't feel anything, so he was like, I can at least look and remember. And it was tasteful. It was framed. I guess if you take a centerfold and frame it, it's tasteful all of a sudden. But yeah, that would piss a guy off. So the last one here we got is the Babe box.
Yeah. So I actually have an example right here of it.
Oh, well, let's give you full screen.
So it is it's a collector's case, and inside
that looks great.
It has a magnetic clasp.
Love it.
And inside will come all 5 books, all 3 covers to book 1, both covers to book 2, a sketch from Clint, a sketch from me, trading cards, a print, and Clint and I are still talking. We might add more to it as the campaign goes.
Definitely.
I want to see 3D prints of them.
Yeah. I do. I like that too.
I just got it. I just got a 3D printer, so who knows?
I can help set that up. But yeah, these would look great as little maquettes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If we could figure out the logistics of that would be super fun.
Yeah, I'll do some weird science experiment in my basement and create Neon and Rebel.
Oh yeah, it's purely sexual. Yeah, I can quote that movie.
Oh yeah.
I was scrolling down to find stretch goals. Didn't see him. Did I miss him, or are you guys just like?
I don't think we posted them yet. We posted them on Twitter. Right now at 10,000, the it's going to be the swimsuit. We're going to do swimsuit edition prints of all the girls, and the first one is going to be of Neon. I posted that on Twitter the other day. So we're getting close to that one now. We're over 7,000, heading toward 10,000. So at 10,000, and then above that, we're gonna have a bunch more prints available for backers. That's where we're gonna like add a lot of bonus stuff, and where the Babe box really kind of becomes a nice thing for you. I mean, it's already a good reward, but we're gonna add a whole lot more to it. So
yeah. So do Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch, do they live in the same in the U.S. Assassin graveyard shift?
I would say so, definitely. So U.S. Assassin's already been in Graveyard Shift. He made a little cameo appearance, and Volume 3 of U.S. Assassin is actually a crossover with Graveyard Shift. And yeah, I already have plans of Sea Dog popping up at some point in U.S. Assassin. So yeah, I would say they're all in the same world. It's like early Image when everyone's characters were crossing over.
Very cool.
It's the Poulton verse.
Yeah, there you go.
George Peter Gatsis is in the chat, so he's heard me talking about his 3D prints, and he knows that when I say I can hook you up, he's the guy I would hook you up with.
I've actually talked to George before. Yeah.
There you go. He says no digital. I just noticed that myself. There's no digital versions of these.
Yeah, we're pushing me personally, I'm a physical book guy. For $25, I feel like, we're giving a high-end product, and that's what we're pushing. The finest cover stock, the thickest paper, square-bound spine. That's what we're going. Maybe somewhere down the line where we have a bigger library, we'll offer digital. But right now,
I think if we ever do digital, it'll be like as an add-on, like a stretch goal kind of reward where it'll be an addition. It'll be, you get the main book, but maybe we'll do like a small digital backup story of something kind of fun, something maybe risque with Neon and Rebel. Well, those are things that might come down the road, but we're not going to do the main book as digital. We want the people to get the print copy, the collector's edition.
Oh yeah,
put out a quality book there, and not just do a digital option of the main book.
I think most people want that. I've always been a physical book guy myself. I've come around to digital, not for me, but I understand that, first of all, you got your international backers who can't afford the shipping, and they would like that. And then I've had people in our chat who regularly show up. We've got a guy who works up in the Arctic Circle in the literal tundra, and he may not have a job now. A few days.
Is his pipeline shut down?
He might be, yeah. But basically, he couldn't carry long white boxes up with him out there into the read on his device. He was buying a lot of digital comics that way. But yeah, like sometime down the line, you might, say, hey, we got a digital universe now. Get the back issues that way. Mm-hmm. You might even think about book one now that book one has come out and been there.
I don't think we're going to put the main books out digitally ever. I think with the main books, like I said, I think we would do maybe a digital backup story as a stretch goal kind of thing. But the main books, the main storyline, I think we're going to just keep that in print. I mean, if anything, like after how many ever, Indiegogos we might do like a trade of like the first 3 books together, but as print. I think we would keep it in print.
Okay.
Just digital kind of, I don't know. It's I'm a comic book fan. I like comic books like you were talking about in print, and I think me and Mark are both kind of on the same page with that. I could see a digital backup story or a digital side story for just something fun, but not the main books.
All right, I just see it as an option. I guess I'm not a fan of them myself, but
right.
I'd rather
Well, and it waters down the uniqueness of the main books. Like people showed up and they bought the print copies of the first thing, and somebody doesn't just have like, you know, the thing is you can throw digital online and just kind of water down the storyline.
Oh,
Maybe
well,
they'll get you some new readers or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I like the books in print.
yeah, digital's too easy to share. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that that's been. I don't know that that's been a huge problem like it is for me.
And I mean, it doesn't really hurt you in the long run. It probably helps you in a way that it gets you more readers that are just like sharing it and whatnot. But I don't know. I just kind of like the idea of having the print books in print for the backers that back the campaign, and it kind of makes those print books a little bit more unique.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
you know, and it is a collectible.
So this has got another 40 days left to go on it. So you're gonna hit 10,000 easy on this one, I'm sure. Probably 15.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah, I can do that.
No, we're very happy with the start we've got off. We're very happy with the response. We're very happy with Comicsgate, but we would love everybody to like back and share. And if you've backed already, you know, retweet, reshare on every social media platform out there. Get the word out. That's the biggest thing nowadays is trying to hit an audience, get the word out about stuff. I think Comicsgate would love this book. You know, the more eyes that are on it, I think the more interest that'll be there. So it's all about just, you know, spreading the word, showing everybody, advertising. You know, it's the same with anything. So that's what we're trying to do right now. But the response has been great. It's blown away the response from book one. Backers, how fast people come on and everything. So we're very happy with how it's going, and we just kind of want to continue that.
Yeah, no, this time last year with the first campaign, I think it took us a month to get to the point where we are right now, and we're only like a week into the first the first of the campaign. So yeah, we're excited to see how this is growing.
Yeah, reputation for printing and delivering goes a long way. You know, we're a publishing house, a Critical Blast, among all the other things we do. And when we did our first fantasy anthology, Gods and Services, we had no history, no track record. And I'm putting out the call for submissions, and I'm like, you know, hey, this is what we're doing. You know, $20 for a short story plus a copy. You know, it's a token thing, it's small press stuff. And we got maybe like 50 submissions to weed through to pick the 10 stories that we put in there. And I'm like, okay, well, when we do the next anthology, which was The Devil You Know, I'm like, now I know I need to maybe expand my reading window by another month. We'll give them 3 months to send it all in, and then I'll maybe get 10 good stories from that as well. We had 170 or more submissions on that one because they saw that we had already published stuff and we had paid. So all of a sudden I was just awash in submissions. I had enough for 2 anthologies, and we picked 20 stories as it was. So we had a really big book. People respond to you doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah, no. If you deliver, that's how customers become repeat customers. You treat them right. You give them exactly. You deliver on what you promise. Even if you over deliver, and yeah, you'll get repeat customers. It works.
Yeah, I mean, there are people on crowdfunding that when their crowdfund is over and they collect, it's the last one they're going to have.
Yeah.
There are ones that have been out there for 6-7 years, probably longer now. That still haven't.
Oh, no.
And
yeah, no. I have some that I've backed that I think it's been like maybe 8 years that I'm still waiting on. So yeah, no, I don't ever want to have a campaign like that. I want to get the books to the people as soon as possible because I've been in their shoes before.
I scrolled back in the chat because I saw this from CB Smallwood, and I didn't want to let it go without addressing it. But this was for Mark. He's in the chat listening to probably all these live streams and all you guys creating stuff. So any advice on taking a story from idea to full script? I'm assuming he means a comic script.
So for me, it's outline. I make the most detailed outlines right before I start actually writing the script. All my ideas, if I have an idea for a cool scene, character's backstory, any little personal details that make the characters more unique, make it more of a fuller character. and then just cool things that I want my artists to draw or what they want to draw. I'll reach out to them and say, hey, is there something that you're just dying to draw? And I try to put all that in there, and then I can mix around things with my outline. And once I have everything in place, then I write the script, and it helps me a lot because all the information's already there. Although I did all the the thinking, and now I just have to like type it out. And one other thing, I don't write the dialogue until after the artwork comes in. That's just sort of how I learned early on in my comics career. Rob Liefeld, took a liking to me and started giving me work, and he would just give me finished pages and was like, here you go, start writing. So at young in my career, I was like, oh, this must be the way it's done. I later found out that's called like the Marvel method.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I do. And I feel like for me, it works best because sometimes like Clint's a perfect example. He's so great with expressions. He'll do an expression on a character's face that gives me an idea I hadn't thought of before. So the whole conversation the characters are having may change, or like who I had envisioned like the centerpiece of this scene was, they're no longer the centerpiece because Clint drew someone doing something that I just like latch on to, and like, oh no, we have to do something with Crotch Rocket because he looks so killer in this scene.
Everyone's saying that's it's a bulletproof method to do it that way, and I completely agree. Wise Guys in the chat says Babe Box is the way to go. That is apparently catching on. I've seen a lot of people do that now, where they've got the little magnet clip over box thing.
It's a nice collectible packet, and then you're getting everything, and you're going to get all the extras in that. You're going to get your sketches. You're going to get your collector's cards. You're going to get all the prints, all the swimsuit prints and everything with it. You're going to get the variant covers. So it's a nice package of all the books and everything.
Yeah, no, I did something similar with U.S. Assassin, my last campaign, and it was a big hit. So yeah, I want to have these collector boxes for all my campaigns going forward. It's a nice treat for those backers that want to go all in and they want everything.
Plus, it looks really nice on the shelf.
It does. It does look really nice. So I know you guys are still working, very hard on this, but you have a whole universe out there waiting for your attention. You have on the calendar, okay, this is what we work on once we're fulfilling this.
Yeah, my whole year's pretty much mapped out already.
You're talking to Mark Poulton here.
Yeah, no.
He's probably well into 2022.
Yeah, no, I'm already thinking about 2022, absolutely. But after this campaign, I'm launching my book, Viking Wolf, with Matt Dalton and Renzo Rodriguez. It's actually only like one page away from being complete. Then after that, U.S. Assassin 3, sometime in like May, June. Going to do another Graveyard Shift, Graveyard Shift 4. And then I have a couple other graphic novels that are practically done. I just have to figure out which one I'm launching first. And then Clint and I, who knows, maybe we'll be able to get 2 Sea Dog and Codename Killswitch books out this year.
In 1 year, that would be kind of cool if we were to do that.
Yeah,
it'll be. I think it's a possibility, definitely.
This team the artwork on this team just screams out for action figures. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, no, I tell people this is the Saturday morning cartoon they would have watched after X-Men and before Power Rangers back in the 90s.
Yes, absolutely is. And this, I mean, the artwork is just so clean, and the line work is. When I say clean, I don't know what I mean by that. I know what I mean.
I appreciate it. You like it. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, I love it. And I'm probably going to, after this is all done, I'm going to right-click on this and print it. No, not that one. Well, that one too. But,
no, I see the art by Clint and Andrew. What a great team they make, and I can't help but think, imagine if the X-Men right now looked like this. I'd be all over that book. luckily, I get to work with them instead.
I had an artist. He wasn't on the show. The writer was on. We were talking about the artist, and it was a similar style. With the line work being this detailed and yet this not obscuring everything. And I said, 3 years ago, I would expect you to lose this artist because the big two would snap him up because he was so good. Same with Clint's work, and Clint, you've already done work for the big two, so
they're not hiring artists like this.
Exactly. It's like, you won't lose him now because he's too good for the big two. They want somebody who can crank something out. Right now, it's all Tumblr art style.
It's a real simplistic kind of like. One of my inker buddies that worked for Marvel told me what they called it. It was like Play-Doh faces. Like the faces were all like Play-Doh. Like there was no definition, no fine art to it. Like everybody kind of had a lumpy face.
Yeah.
And it was the Play-Doh style, they kind of called it.
Yeah, I call it the Tumblr art style because it's just very, very generic. But the direction they're going, we're like 5 years away from. Can you picture the X-Men done in CalArts? Because that's the direction things are heading.
I'm fine with it because it only makes like we're sitting here waiting in Indiegogo, and all those fans they're gonna end up over here.
Yeah, my son will end up going your direction too. I mean, we were watching. I might have told you. Yeah, I might have told you last time he was watching the Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go when they were debuting that, and they said, stay tuned after the show for the premiere of Thundercats Roar. He's like, can I stay up for that? And I said, yes, you can stay up for that, but let me show you something first. So during the commercial break, I pulled up an episode of Thundercats on my phone. I said, this is what it used to look like. And then commercial running, he looked at the phone, he looked at the TV. He's like, that sucks. I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
So you just got to show them that there was a better alternative, and they'll take it.
No, I mean, the alternative is in indie comics now, and it's in creator-owned creations. Like Comicsgate is creating the coolest comics that are out there right now, hands down. It's easy to say.
Yeah,
it's like I'll take a Comicsgate created book over anything the big two are putting out right now. It's and the fans see it too, and the fans are realizing it, and it's just a matter of time. So.
And there's a huge variety. I mean, one of the things everybody bitched about in the 80s and the 90s was like, we're not putting out enough genre. It's all superhero. And then when we do something, it sucks. We don't do it right. You look at Comicsgate and crowdfunding, you got your superhero teams like this one right here.
There's not a ton of superhero stuff out there. There's a ton of like Western and a ton of fantasy and like all kinds of stuff. There's a huge amount of variety. Like, we're one of the few superhero books out there because there's so much variety. So.
You've got things like Charlie's London, which is a biopic.
Oh my God, yeah, absolutely. Charlie's London is killing it, and like just such a unique idea, but something that's so much fun. Like Comicsgate is killing it out there, and there's something for everybody. There's a ton of variety. There's a ton of fun stuff. The artwork is amazing. The writing blows people away on these books. Yeah. There's a reason why all this stuff is cream rises to the top, And it is getting attention outside of,
I know people want to think that, you guys are giving money back and forth to each other because you're in a club. No, when I talked to my local comic shop guy and I told him my idea for the distribution and how he'd be able to buy comics from me, and I used Charlie's London as an example of the books I might have on hand as just for title examples. He stopped me and said, can you get Charlie's London? Because I want that.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
that's awesome. No, it's permeating. It's permeating everywhere, and more people are knowing about it because it's quality.
Yeah.
It's the best stuff that's out there. The market expands because fans want this stuff. Like, fans are like just legitimately disgusted with how apathetic Marvel and DC are about putting anything out there that's good or quality, or what the fans are really interested in. Like, Marvel and DC editors like turn their noses up at the fans. It's like, we're not here to please you. We're here to put out the product we put out. And Comicsgate is about creating comics that the fans want. And I mean, the results are obvious. Comicsgate comics sell because the fans. This is what the fans are looking for.
Yeah, and it is, and you're selling it to them. I'm looking further down the line, and I'm wondering if there's a plan of attack on this. I've known people, and I'm not talking about Red Rooster on this one here, but I am talking about people who have come up with a creation that sells well, and they take it to Walmart, and then they get that distribution platform, and suddenly they're overwhelmed with more than they can handle, and they can't handle it, and they go under. I'm wondering how, you may think, yes, give me this problem, but what are you going to do when U.S. Assassin...
The demand is more than we're prepared for?
Yeah, when U.S. Assassin 7, you get an order for 80,000 copies, because now you're at the, the Batman, Spider-Man kind of levels of production.
Right. Hopefully that's a gradual build and not, going from, 500 copies to 80,000. Because if that was just a quick jump, yeah, then I'm in over my head. But if I slowly build to that, I'm going to be, I think, more able to handle this. I'll know that, I'm going to need help with fulfillment. I'm going to have to actually bring in a fulfillment service to help me. Yeah. I'm going to need a whole crew. Yeah.
There are avenues for that. There are indie creators right now. If you ran into that problem, I guarantee you Brian Pulido would probably talk to you and give you some helpful hints, because Brian Pulido is a great creator. He appreciates the indie crowd, and Brian Pulido's doing this in his sleep. Brian Pulido's killing it out there. I mean, you and John are kind of those kind of numbers. Ethan has been through this. There's a creator group out there that are dealing with those kind of numbers. So there are people you can talk to if you're hitting those numbers. And I mean, there are fulfillment companies out there. So it's not. Yeah, exactly. So
we hire more people.
Yeah. Yeah. It can be overwhelming, but there are answers to that, and those are good. Those are what you call the good problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of like the old prayer, God bless me with tax problems.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Well, guys, I've kept you on a little bit longer than the hour we normally slot, but good discussion. I love what I'm seeing here, and you guys, I'd say I wish you the best of success, but you've already got it, so I wish you more success.
Thank you.
Can't wait to have you guys back again with your next book. Thank you again for coming on, because, again, without guys like you, I don't have a show to talk about.
Thanks for having us on. No, it's always fun to talk comics.
Yeah, no, guys like you are very important to our success, to get our word out and for people to see the book.
Well,
we appreciate it.
Very thankful to folks in the chat as well. We have got 1,300 subscribers, which I find hard to believe. And we just this morning cracked 2,900 view hours on the channel.
That is awesome, man. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, you're almost there.
Almost there. Slowly but surely inching our way up. So
nice.
Thanks again for coming, folks in the chat. Appreciate you as always, and we hope that you had a blast.